Welcome into Everything in the Barrel. I am your host, Andrew, and today I did the most annoying thing that I could probably think of, and that is walking into a few different liquor stores and asking them if they had any Blantons. Now, yeah, is that the most hater thing that I could think of? Absolutely. But here are the recommendations that they gave me when they ultimately said, no, we don't have any. Let's get into it. So I walked into the first store and asked them if they had any Blantons. Guy said no. So I asked him, what's a good alternative? He said Blade and Bow. Now Blade and Bow is fairly close. I mean, it's 91 proof. It's good classic bourbon notes with a little bit of like vanilla, oaky sweetness, whatever on there. It's a little fruity, which I don't get a lot of times from Blantons. But, you know, it's close to the same proof. It's not that bad of an alternative. I'm not a huge fan of Blade and Bow. To me, it's a little too thin than what I would go for typically in a bourbon. But for about $50, it's not a bad alternative if that's what you're looking for. So I was fairly impressed with the first guy that he suggested this one. All right, number two. Number two was a Total Wine. If you know anything about Total Wine, their Spirit Direct or whatever their like overarching parent company is, and they push a lot of those products. So when you go in there and ask for Blantons or anything allocated, they'll steer you away from those products and they'll point you to something of theirs. I've already had a bottle of this because I followed one of those recommendations in the past, and that's Lazy River Bourbon. I know absolutely nothing about this whiskey, and I try to keep it that way because it's not that great. Just for sake of honesty here, it's really not that great. It's what, 45, so 90 proof, so it's a couple proof points lower than what Blanton's is at 93. But I've given it a few different chances. It's nothing special, very bottom shelf in my opinion, but for I think 30, 35-ish dollars, you could do worse. But as a Blanton's alternative, definitely not it. All right, number three. Now, when he suggested this one, I've had a couple bottles of this in the past. While it is quite a bit higher in proof than what Blanton's is, almost at 20 proof points higher, it's Russell Reserve Single Barrel. And he pointed this one out to me because he's like, if you're looking for a single barrel offering that's readily available, about the same price point, Russell's, if you can get behind like some of those peanut dusty notes on there, well, yeah, it's a higher proof, but it's a very good alternative for about the same price. I would recommend this one. All right, number four. Number four, it was a smaller store. Guy didn't have too much there, but what he suggested was Elijah Craig Small Batch. Elijah Craig Small Batch is coming in one proof point higher than Blanton's. It's not a single barrel. They do make some single barrel offerings of this, which are really good in my opinion. But as just like a classic staple, the price is right at like what, $20 to $25. You can't really go wrong with some of these. To me, Elijah Craig Small Batch is a very good cocktail mixer. I don't really drink it neat all that often. But for the price and the fact that it's readily available, you can't go wrong. All right, last but not least, the guy that suggested this one, I think he was just trying to stick to the proof where the flavors totally different. Old Forester 1910. This is a toasted bourbon, which if you've had a toasted bourbon before, you can tell it's very different than what Blanton's has to offer. It's a very good whiskey, and I don't knock the guy for suggesting it, but if you're looking for a Blanton's alternative, to me, this is gonna provide a different experience than what Blanton's will. I would definitely recommend this one as just a daily sipper, something aside from like trying to find a Blanton's alternative, if that's what you're looking for. Still a very good whiskey, and I can see why the guy recommended it, but it's not really a good replacement in my mind. So there we have it. Those were the recommendations that I got when I walked into the store and asked if they had any Blantons. Now, are some of them actually good replacements? Sure. Are some of them good in their own regards, but probably not a sustainable substitution for this bottle right here? Absolutely. And there's something about Blanton's to where the whiskey that's in the bottle, because it's a single barrel, it might not always be the best. Some of them are very good, some of them are just mediocre at best in a lot of ways. But there's something about the history and the presentation of this bottle that just makes it a staple in the whiskey community. Now, do I knock anybody for chasing this bottle? Absolutely not. That is not what I'm here to do. It is very good in its own regard, and I understand why a lot of people chase it. But there are sustainable options out there. So if you're looking for an alternative to Blanton's, drop down in the comments below. I'll be happy to try to help you out the best that I can to find a good replacement based on what your palate is. So remember, like and subscribe. We will catch you on the next one. Take care. God bless.